hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about how to apply to Australian universities. My name is Tia, hello if you've never seen me before. I graduated from year 12 last year in 2019 and I applied to a bunch of Australian universities all over the country. I'm from Perth in Western Australia, but I applied to unis on the Gold Coast, in Canberra and in Melbourne, and also in WA, but I was never really too keen on going to uni in WA just because I wanted to spread my wings to another part of the country, which actually isn't happening now. I'm going to uni in the US, so but I did receive some very generous offers from lots of Australian universities. So in this video I'm going to give an overview of the Australian university application process, and then in future videos coming out I'm going to go more into depth on specific universities that I applied to and exactly how to do their application processes, because all the universities are different, but this is just an overview of the process for most universities. Okay, so for most universities you will apply through the website for that state. So for example, for WA this is called TISC, for Victoria this is called VTAC, and you're going to want to go onto that website and create an account. And then you'll be able to apply to most universities in that state. So if you go and create an account on TISC, that's such a strange word, you're going to be able to apply to UWA, to Curtin, to whatever other universities are in WA. You're going to be able to apply to most of the Western Australian universities through TISC. And through VTAC you're going to be able to apply to Melbourne Uni, to Monash, to Deakin, etc, etc. So the first thing to do is go on and create an account on those websites of the states that you're interested in applying to, and most states should have a similar website, so just look up what it's called and make an account on that. Just so you know, I have my notebook here with notes for this video, so that's why I'm looking down at it. But for some universities they are not going to be on their state sites. So for example, in WA, if you want to apply to Notre, that's not through TISC. That has its own separate application, so go and look at its website and see how to apply. Universities that I applied to that I didn't apply through the statewide site, one of them was Bond University, which is on the Gold Coast, which is where I was going to be going if I didn't go to the US, and it's a great university, it's a fantastic university, so I'm going to film some videos on that. But yeah, you have to apply to that through its own application process, and for ANU as well, you have to apply to that through its own website, not through the statewide site. So I'll go through those applications in a minute, but firstly I'm going to go through the ones where you applied through the statewide site. So basically how it works is you're just going to be able to choose, it depends on the website, but it's normally about up to 8 different preferences. So you go onto the site, and once you've registered and everything, you just get to list your preferences. Oh my gosh, I just filmed a video about how to apply to US universities and the US university application process, and it is so much more complicated. It is so easy to apply to universities in Australia. So yeah, you just go onto the website and there'll be a list of preferences, and you just search for what course you want to study and at what university, and then you just click on that and it goes onto your preference list. So for example, your preference list, if you are in Victoria or if you're applying through VTAC, your preference list could look like this. You know, your top preference is Melbourne University, Bachelor of Science. Second preference, Monash University, Bachelor of Science. Third preference, Deakin University, Bachelor of Science. Fourth preference, Monash University, Bachelor of Arts. Fifth preference, Deakin University, Bachelor of Arts, etc, etc, etc. And you can change those preferences, so you can go on right now if you're in year 12 and put those preferences in, and then you can change them at any stage throughout the year up until a certain date, and then after that certain date there are more windows that you can change your preferences in. I know you can, once you get your atar, you have 24 hours or something to change your preferences again, if you want to. But yeah, you can change them at most points throughout the year, but at some point later in the year they do get locked into place. And then once ATARs come out at the end of the year, now again, this year I'm not sure of this how this process is going to change due to coronavirus, but this is just what happens normally. This is what happened when I applied last year. So at the end of the year, once your ATAR comes out, you will get given an offer from one university per state. So if you just apply through VTAC, you'll just get an offer from one university. I applied through TISC and through VTAC, so I got 2 offers, but one was from Victoria and one was WA. So just to keep things simple, let's pretend you're just applying through VTAC and you have that preference list that I just mentioned before. Based on your ATAR, you are going to get given the highest preference that will take you based on your ATAR. So say you got an ATAR of 96, I don't know, and your top preference was Melbourne Uni Bachelor of Science, and based on your ATAR and based on all of the other applicants for this year, they're not going to take you, so they're going to say no. So then your second preference was Monash Bachelor of Science, they're also saying no, and your third preference was Deakin Bachelor of Science, and based on your 96 ATAR, they're saying yes, they're going to accept you. So you're going to get an offer from Deakin University to study a Bachelor of Science. So that's the highest preference that is going to take you. So it doesn't matter if all of the universities and preferences that you listed below that preference would also have taken you. Like, you're only going to get an offer from the top preference that is accepting you. So you'll just get one offer, okay? So that's where it is very, very different to US universities, where you apply to all of the different universities and you can get offers from all of them, or you can get rejections from all of them, or you can get some acceptances and some rejections. In Australia, you don't even get rejected necessarily. Well, you do, but you don't get to open a rejection. You just get one acceptance, hopefully, unless you don't get accepted into any of your preferences. But I don't know what happens in that case. So yeah. So that is how it works with most of the universities, where you apply to them on the statewide site. I feel like every time I say statewide site, I have to do this hand gesture. With universities that you don't apply to on the statewide site, such as ANU, Bond and Notre Dame, the application, so you're going to want to decide which universities you want to apply to, and you're going to want to look up if you apply to them on the statewide site, or if you apply to them via a separate application on their website. So yeah, if it is via a separate application on their website, then from my experience at Bond and ANU, they were both due well before like applications on the statewide site were due. So I think they were due like before semester 2 was over. They were due at some time during term 2. So if you're in year 12 currently and you're watching this video and you want to apply to one of these universities, then I would recommend getting onto that application process right now if you're not on it already, because these applications could be due very soon. Again, I'm not sure what they're doing with coronavirus, but last year they were due at some time during term 2. So they're each going to have a separate application process, and the bonus of this is, say you're applying to, so now you're living in Queensland and you want to apply to Queensland universities, and you apply to many different universities through the statewide site and you get accepted into your top preference. You're going to get an offer from that, but then you can also get an offer from Bond University, which is on the Gold Coast, because you didn't apply to Bond through the statewide site. It had its own application process, so you can receive an offer from that as well as one from the Queensland statewide site. So that's the good thing about these options. You can receive an offer from them. Like, that's more like the US university system. You apply to them and then you either receive an acceptance or a rejection. So just go onto their website and look up their application process. It should be fairly straightforward, but again, if you have any issues, just contact the admissions department of that university. And I will go through the individual processes for applying to some of these universities in much more specific detail in future videos, but for now I was just kind of giving like an overview of the process. But basically just like look the information up online of the universities you want to apply to, and make sure you mark the due dates in your diary, the application due dates, and get all the applications done and submitted before those due dates. That is very, very important, because lots of universities are not flexible with their due dates. If you miss the due date, you're not going to that university. And like I mentioned, if you're in year 12 right now, get onto this now. look up the universities where you want to apply to and write the due dates down, and make sure you get all the applications submitted before the due date, okay? Because some applications are probably due soon. So don't stress, but just take action. Take action. Okay, we have come to the part of the video where I am going to answer the questions that you guys asked me on Instagram. So, when is the best time to apply for scholarships? I will go through this in the video that I'm going to make on how to apply to scholarships for universities in Australia, but I'd probably start looking at scholarship application processes now. Actually, yeah, I'd definitely start looking at them now if you're in year 12, because most of them close before the application due dates. Like, most scholarship due dates are before application due dates, so I would start looking at them now. If you're in year 11, that's a good time to start looking at scholarships. Did you apply for scholarships in Australia, and which ones? Yes, I did apply for scholarships in Australia, and I got quite a few. Well, I mean, I got a few scholarships, and I'm going to talk about this in my upcoming video on scholarships. But one university that gives very generous scholarships is Bond University, so I would definitely apply for scholarships at Bond, and also ANU. ANU is another good one for scholarships. What are your top picks of Australian universities? So, like I mentioned, if I didn't go to the US, I was going to be going to Bond University, which is on the Gold Coast, and my other top picks were ANU and Melbourne Uni. What Australian universities did you apply to? I applied to Bond, ANU, Melbourne Uni, and I think I applied in WA, but I wasn't really ever going to go, so I don't know why I applied. When should you start looking into uni applications? I would recommend looking into it in year 11 and really looking into it at the start of year 12. What is included in the application? I think I pretty much went through this in this video, but for most Australian universities, for the statewide sites, you don't need to put in anything. You literally don't need to put in anything. For the applications for universities that aren't on the statewide sites, sometimes they just ask you like some short answer questions about your extracurriculars and your academics and sports and various things. But yeah, I'll go through this more in the videos that I dedicate to specific universities. So those are all of your questions. Thank you so much to everyone who asked a question, and I hope I answered them all right. So yeah, that is basically an overview of the process for applying to Australian universities. I am in a future video going to go through how to apply for scholarships in Australia and how to get university scholarships. So make sure to look out for that video, and so you don't miss it, subscribe to my channel, because at the moment I am uploading heaps of videos about university application processes and how to apply and random stuff like that. And when I start university in the US in September, hopefully if coronavirus calms down before then, I'm going to be filming heaps of university vlogs. We just have lots of fun videos coming up on this channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss those, and give this video a like and comment down below if you have any questions, and I will see you in my next video. Good luck, current year 12s. This is a very strange time to be in year 12, so you are all doing very well, and I wish you all the very best with like doing all your studies this year, and with your ATAR and your exams at the end of the year, and for applying to universities. It is a big year, but I'm sure you're going to do very well. So yeah, good luck, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!